It's news time here at Change Radio. Today is the 9th of February 2021. My name is Lee Bofu and the story is making the headlines. Diasporans start GoFundMe for persecuted Alan Moyo. Zimbabweans hold a virtual demonstration against ZANU-PF. R2's response to Charamba. The stories in detail. Loud European Voices for Diaspora have started a GoFundMe campaign for student leader Alan Moyo to be assisted in whatever he may need in prison. Alan Moyo has been incarcerated by the state for over 60 days for demanding an end to the rampant corruption and looting of state funds by the Emerson Mnangagwa-led government. Moyo continues to languish in prison without proper personal protective equipment measures to protect him from COVID-19. The GoFundMe website is I Stand With Alan, We Are All Alan. On its launch date, here is what Diaspora Chairperson Isabella Mtetwa had to say.
As European Voices in Diaspora, we have organized a GoFundMe for Alan. Reason being, this young man, when he is in prison, he needs our help. He needs emotional support. Like Lydia said, that we are all Alan. Let's feel the same pain. We felt the pain that Alan is in prison. We are also in prison. And everyone who has an opportunity or a privilege to give, please, let's do it. We saw that he needs to be comforted. He is in prison. He is young. He might think something else. That place is not a place to be. Someone might think to commit suicide. He needs emotional support. He needs financial support. Right now, he's just a student. He doesn't earn anyway. So it's our duty. It's our role as young citizens to help in. Yes, he doesn't even have a mask, that guy. But you see, when they are burying, they are I'm sorry to say this, they are dying because of COVID. But you see, when they are burying those people, they were well protected. Then you ask yourself, where are these suits? Where are these suits? Why is it that we only see them in a during echo when they are burying their loved ones, when they are carrying their loved ones from wherever they are to protect them from COVID-19? When Alan Moyo is suffering in prison without a protective mask, is there any social distancing in that health cell? There is nothing like that. So I'm pleading to fellow Zimbabweans, please join in with Leader Julie. The GoFundMe link will be sent. Please, let's send $1, a €5, anything. It makes a change. The young man needs to be comforted. And he still needs to fight, eh? He's coming out to fight again. He's a young man with a strong spirit. We need to support him. Let's not kill a good spirit. Let's support it. Those are the tomorrow leaders. Please support us as young leaders. That's my plea to Zimbabweans. Here, as I'm representing European Voices, I want to appeal to all the citizens of Zimbabwe in the diaspora that, guys, please have heart. We are sleeping on nice beds. We are eating nice food. We have everything comfortable, but home is where we belong. Home is where our heart is. We are not here to have all these pleasures. We need to go back home, and we need to support these young people, upcoming leaders in Zimbabwe. We are brave enough to stand for everyone, to stand for every people. Now it's our time to support Alan Moyo.
Citizens from across the world came together to hold a virtual demonstration exposing the continuous poor governance and cruelty of ZANU-PF on opposition members and political activists. This is what they said.
People of Zimbabwe and the world at large, we are doing this video to express our freedom of speech for ourselves and our people in Zimbabwe who are scared of speaking out in public against the ZANU-PF misrule of our country.
Right now, our very own NDC Alliance comrades Job Sikhala and Fadai Mahere are being persecuted by ZANU-PF for exposing its ruthlessness to the world. The tenacious journalist Hopo Chinono is also being attacked by ZANU-PF for exposing corruption.
ZANU is persecuting those who expose their illegal activities.
ZANU-PF should stop arresting people using laws that do not exist. In the past 40 years, ZANU-PF has presided over the total collapse of the healthcare sector in Zimbabwe.
So in the fight against COVID, we're going to start from negative because ZANU has destroyed public services, especially health.
They did this because they knew they had the comfort of getting their medical treatment outside Zimbabwe. So money for public health was being used to finance the foreign troops made by sickly old men of ZANU to China, South Africa, and other places.
Let it be known that Zimbabweans are dying of COVID because hospitals are underfunded.
When we say fix the nation's healthcare system, we're saying it for the benefit of all Zimbabweans. Provide adequate medical facilities, PPE, and an adequate living wage for all healthcare workers. ZANU-PF must go.
Zimbabwe is open for business, they said. But how do you explain the number of so many people who are dying at our borders, trying to cross to other countries to get a better life? Their death is in Mnangagwa's hands. Mnangagwa must go.
Every Zimbabwean should have the freedom of speech to say that Mnangagwa is an illegitimate leader. ZANU-PF must go.
You may think that you are doing well under ZANU, but remember, a crocodile has no loyalties. Soon, you will be part of the menu.
And now that COVID is claiming their ZANU chiefs, they want us to pray and observe Ubuntu. Nonsense.
We cannot take orders about Ubuntu from inhumane thugs who cannot be humane even to their own, e.g. Mary Chiwenga, being denied access to treatment from outside the country even though she can afford it. What nonsense.
Where was Ubuntu when ZANU-PF was murdering Zimbabweans in cold blood for the last 41 years?
Where was Ubuntu when ZANU-PF murdered thousands of people in Matabeleland during Gukurahundi?
Where is Ubuntu when mothers are dying during labor because hospitals have been run down by corruption?
COVID-19 is real. I'm appealing to every one of you. If you can access a vaccine, please get vaccinated. I was vaccinated on the 11th of January. I have no issues at all. So please get vaccinated. To the USA, UK, EU, and the World Health Organization, we ask for your support because we are alone in this fight. We sincerely appeal for vaccines, medications, medical equipment to sail through this storm.
We thank you for the support you give us in the fight against AIDS and everything else you have given us so far. We thank you in advance.
We need all the help we can get from all the four corners of the world because from ZANU-PF there is no way out.
COVID-19 is real. In a time of crisis, Zimbabwe needs credible leaders.
ZANU-PF must go.
Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe has described George Charamba as dead from the neck up and an airhead due to his consistent uneducated utterances over the years. This response from teachers came after Charamba blamed teachers for the dismal Grade 7 results. Meanwhile, MDC Alliance leader President Nelson Chamisa has said Africa cannot afford to continue with the systems of authoritarian regime, dictatorial tendencies, and despotic forms of governance that are currently predominant on the continent. In an article he penned and was published on Monday by the online website Green Savannah, diplomaticable.com, President Advocate Nelson Chamisa cited the continuous human rights violations in Cameroon, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. He went on to write, authoritarian regimes and dictatorial governments are repressive, corrupt, and inefficient in this modern world. Their only purpose is to retain power and to loot public funds for the benefit of a few political elites, leaving the majority of citizens in serious poverty. President Chamisa made it unequivocally clear that the arrest of MDC Alliance spokesperson Fadai Mahere, who contracted COVID-19 whilst in prison, was a sign of evil doing by the government. Justice Chinamora has ended 8 days of detention of MDC Alliance's MP Honorable Joanna Mamombe and youth leader Cecilia Chimbiri by setting aside Magistrate Mambanje's ruling of denying them bail. Justice Chinamora orders the duo to pay 10,000 Zimbabwe dollars bail each and report to police every fortnight. In a virtual meeting held over the weekend by Change Radio, well-known activist Makomborero Haruzivishe highlighted that what is happening to Alan Moyo at the moment is a cause for concern, as it clearly shows judiciary capture due to its inconsistent rule of law. Moyo is languishing in prison for calling an end to corruption and demanding a better Zimbabwe. Haruzivishe went on to narrate his story with Moyo, who stood in solidarity with him before. Let's listen to what he said.
Yes. Alan Moyo's arrest, it's a cause for concern for all citizens, considering that the reasons that he was arrested for were not criminal, issues where he was going to benefit as an individual. These were issues which he was fighting for the public good. And it said that, a certain magistrate, when people look at the system or say the system has done this, it appears like they are a caterpillar or a machine that doesn't have emotions, that doesn't think independently, that follows instructions. But these are people, fathers, mothers, the prosecutors, the magistrates, the police officers who arrested him, the prison guards who are keeping him in prison. They are ordinary people, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, someone else. They live in communities. They're just but small people who are enabling this system. So number one thing that we have to make clear in this discussion is that these people, whatever they are doing, is something that as a people, on our cultural values, religious values, on the place of humanity, because we have just but one big race, it's humanity. We've just but one big religion, it's love. We've just but one big political ideology. It's a Zimbabwe that is, a free Zimbabwe where all peoples and citizens, issues and concerns are in that rest. So what is happening to Alan is something that is very, very and highly abnormal that we should not take lightly. So a brief introduction about Alan on the reasons on why he was arrested and how he was arrested. He was someone who was arrested while he's bringing food. He was offering solidarity to fellow students who had been arrested for demanding, better systems in as far as access to education and academic freedoms are concerned. Alan was someone that I was arrested with back then in 2019. It was on the 20th of February. The circumstances around my arrest then were we were just having, a late lunch with him. And then over 50 police officers, armed police officers, came and raided the place, arrested. Everyone was at the restaurant. It was around 80 people. Then when we were taken to Arara Central Police Station. So when it became out that was a pregnant arrest, but it was targeted at me, Alan Moyo, he said no. You have released everyone in the escaped Mago. There were high chances that these people were going to do foul play on me because they'd cut all communication and everything, taken my phones and everything. But someone said no. Whatever crime is committed, I also have committed in utmost show of solidarity. It was for me an utmost show of love. It was for me an utmost and extreme show of camaraderie, comradeship. It was for me the apex and zenith of solidarity. So I think as a point of departure, that alone should raise emotions of solidarity, should raise a sense of solidarity amongst us. But he was arrested in the line of solidarity. He was arrested for solidarity. And the charge was given was for demanding a better Zimbabwe for everyone.
In the same meeting, Julie, who was amongst the panelists, challenged the government to apply the rule of law to everyone, including Nick Mangwana, who accused doctors by calling them assassins who are killing top government officials. She also added that Alan is not a criminal compared to the other citizens who have committed serious offenses. This is what she had to say.
Inini ndakasarudza kubatsira Alan Moyo because Alan Moyo ana mhosva yakapara. Chinondibodza ndechekuti vanhu vane mhosva chaivo chaivo havasungwa havasi mumajeri. But vanhu vasina mhosva ndovanosungwa. Like now the CEO is back again in prison because they are the opposition. There's no justice in Zimbabwe. Justice is for the ruling party. Vanhu vezanamisa madiro avo havasungwa vanosungwa and then 2-3 days they are out. But kana ari munhu we-MDC Alliance anogara mujeri and they throw away the kids. Alan Moyo didn't commit any crime. Haana kumboba goridhe revana veZimbabwe. Haana kumbodya mari yeCovid. Haana kumbodya mari yeCyclone Idai. So Alan Moyo must be out.
So
like tiri kunyatsirwadza ndechekuti uyu akabatwa aine evidence nakudhara yegold ari panze akapiwa bail. Pakasungwa sehopu weona who's this our speaker vakasungirwa video yekuti anzi vakasenda the wrong information yekuti mupurisa akauraya mwana but Niki Mangwana akaparadza naudze kunyembo sei asina kusungwa aitaura kuti madoctors ndo ari kuuraya nezanpf why ari panze is going to court. Is it on Monday?
Yeah.
Monday. So I heard he's going to court on Monday. So I think we should raise some funds to help with the legal issues and, but our cry right now is Alan Moyo must be out. So that's Alan Moyo good because Alan Moyo ana mhosva yakapara, ana munhu wakadira, ana munhu wakambokandira tear gas mubhazi, ana munhu wakamborova for apparent reason, ana chembere yakasvidzwa, ana mbofuna vanhu musi wa1st of August. Aitaurawo zviri pamwoyo pakazvisungirwe munhu kutaura zvaunoda. Inini plus one more question yandinawo maChinese yakapfuura muvanhu maZimbabweans hapana zvakaiti vakabuda uyu muchaina wokurumisa vanhu nebhokuro vanhu akabuda saka Alan Moyo mhosva yake ndeyei Joanna Mamombembe siyo mhosva yavo ndeyei vanhu vari kuparamura mhosva vezanise vari panze havasi kusungwa why Alan Moyo why Joanna Mamombembe self why the MDC Alliance yeah this is painful just put yourself into Alan Moyo's shoes. Alan Moyo afumira legacy yekumba kwavo yekuti Alan Moyo azoita something in the Moyo get something. Ari kubvira echikutese. Zvakafanana nekadhori kaya kuti government iri busy kutsvaga kadhori kaya because kanotaura chokwadi. Havadi vanhu vanotaura chokwadi.
In other news, Major General Douglas Nyikayaramba, the Chief Staff Administration in the Zimbabwe National Army, has died from COVID-19, multiple sources have told. Nyikayaramba is part of those who led a vicious campaign of terror in the 2008 election runoff that saw hundreds of opposition murdered, maimed, and displaced. Bulawayo no longer has a COVID-19 quarantine center, with those needing isolation now being sent to Esigodini and Bubi, an official has revealed. Speaking during an online Reform Indaba meeting hosted by Zimbabwe Coalition on Death and Development on Transparency and Accountability of COVID-19 Resources, Mr. Fanuel Zoma, the Bulawayo Provincial Welfare Officer, said the city does not have a public facility that can be used as a quarantine center. For now, there is no quarantine center for Bulawayo. Those in need of quarantine are now being accommodated at either Inyati Public Training Center in Bubi or Escoveni Public Service Training Center at Esigodini. Bindura Member of Parliament Kenneth Musani has said it is not his duty to provide residents with water in an interview with another publication. The past year, local government failed to deliver right services to the citizens as ZANU-PF continuously arrested councillors and mayors, whilst MDC-T recalled most of the councillors who had won in the 2018 elections. In our regional news, Emirates has temporarily suspended flights to and from Harare from the 13th of February 2021 to the 28th of February 2021 due to operational services. In their press statement, the company said that flights to and from Lusaka will continue to operate as 4 weekly services, and customers holding tickets with final destinations to Harare will not be accepted for travel at their point of origin. Affected customers have also been advised to contact their travel agent or Emirates for rebooking options. In sports, last night there was only one football match in the English Premier League, where Leeds United beat Crystal Palace by 2-0. In our COVID-19 statistical update, Zimbabwe has recorded 34,658 cumulative cases with 28,825 recoveries and 1,339 deaths. The headlines once again as we conclude this news bulletin. Diasporans start GoFundMe for persecuted Alan Moyo. Zimbabweans hold a virtual demonstration against ZANU-PF. R2's response to Charamba.